just do what I did last time. I go in the basement, and then I let other people figure it out with the votes and all that kind of thing. But then we can make America great again. No, wait a minute. That's their thing. That's MAGA. What do I do? I'm going to do whatever I do. Here
is the first January 6th committee hearing footage that you might have seen. You're going to get to hear. Look at that. You hear a lot of sound there, folks. And you see this footage. It's pretty dramatic.
Sounds very riotous.
Sandbag his entire administration.
Here's the actual footage. It's a silent movie. Same footage. Exact camera. We matched the camera to the second. But there's no footage there, no sound footage at all. That footage was thrown in there to create a dramatic movie-like effect. It's no longer evidence now.
By the
It's now
Democrats.
turned into a little bit of propaganda. It's one thing if they told the public they did it right, Amanda, but they don't. Look how silent it is. It looks like a 1920s silent movie. Bad behavior being shown. There's a guy kicking the door. These are bad people. But we were given an extra
and they should be
effect that didn't exist
prosecuted.
on these tapes. Now in a few seconds, we're going to roll to another tape, and you're going to see a similar circumstance, an outside shot of the Capitol, one of the more famous shots that we all remember. And again, there's no sound. Somebody dubbed in the sound afterwards to create it Hollywood style instead of evidence. Here we go. Here's the second footage.
My patient's experience. Balancera neutralizes
January 6th.
Pretty loud.
system so that your
Now
body
watch this.
can heal itself. With
There's no
this
sound.
acid in your body,
There was no.
your
Why?
body
Because these are
becomes less
closed-circuit
inflamed.
television cameras. They never had sound. All the committee had to do was tell them.
That's deeply concerning. Earlier in the day, Biden needed a lot of help, special help, to find the stage and the podium. And during the speech, Joe had some, well, let's call them unusual moments. Take a look.
It wasn't all push-ups and cramming for Prague Week,
What?
though to set the Guinness Book of Records, world records, most simultaneous push-ups, there had to be an enormous amount of push-ups. Had them out doing loops and barrel rolls on a glider.
What?
I asked if I could do that today, and the Secret Service said, no, we'll have to shoot it down. By the way, I met with who are those guys that fly over shortly? You heard of them, haven't you?
What?
3 of them are women. And your class is one of the most diverse classes in the history of this academy, or any academy to graduate. That's why we're strong.
What?
That's why we're who we are. That's why we'll never give up.
Angry Joe.
Who are those guys that are about to
Hey,
do
whacked his head on
Anyway,
the
So
helicopter.
after those very bizarre remarks,
Boom.
Biden returned home to the White House. And what happens? Well, he hit his head on Marine One. He then told the press corps that a rogue sandbag was responsible for him tripping and falling. Take a look.
Okay.
Well, unfortunately, it appears that Biden has bigger problems than being
I'm
sandbagged,
falling.
but the media mob
And I
don't seem to
can't
care.
get up.
CNN, MSDNC, they barely mentioned Biden's fall like it never happened. In
course
contrast,
not.
4 years ago, here's how they covered Donald Trump. Remember, it was raining, he had a ramp, it didn't have a railing of any kind, and it was a very
had leather-soled shoes.
speech he gave at West Point, and so in dress shoes, he walked slowly. Never fell. He very wisely walked slowly. Take a look.
President Trump is now the oldest president to hold office during a first term as he celebrated his 74th birthday yesterday. However, this milestone is bringing up new questions about his health, particularly over the moment with this weekend where he cautiously descended a ramp during the commencement speech at West Point Academy.
Oh
Tonight,
my
new
God.
questions about President
New
Trump's
questions.
health after this walk down a ramp at West Point's graduation ceremony this weekend.
One doesn't need to be a physician to note that the president hasn't looked well recently, and he didn't look well on Saturday.
Right.
Momentary.
But besides, it's not the mind that's the problem. It's everything to the south. I mean, if I sit in a chair for more than 90 seconds, I can't feel my legs. But if I close my eyes, I'm as old as I am, then fly. Look, I'll show you. Okay, I'm running a 50-yard dash. I'm doing the high jump. Then I open my eyes. I can't feel my legs.
Smaller Voldemort, smaller.
Whoa. Put on the brakes. Welcome, boys and girls, children of all ages, hoofties, pufties, one-eyed heifers, right and left-wing wackos, woodchucks, and chuckettes, kings and queens of the Northeast Kingdom, which is what they call it up here in Vermont, to another version of It's News to Us. And you are watching It's News to Us. Thanks, Philo. In the booth, we have Philo T. Farnsworth, College of Musical Knowledge. You can see his drum videos on YouTube at Terry DeFazio, and he does a bunch of covers. He usually only gets kicked off for copyright violations. So watch us now. Hail now, brown cows, locals say. We're back on YouTube. I guess we're in their good graces. I heard today that they've lightened up on talk about the erection. So if you have erection problems, YouTube is letting you back on. But just in case, keep that link to the other, to Grumble. So if your stomach's a grumbling, you can watch us on Grumble. And we're all inclusive here. We cater to men, women, bat-wangers, bat-wangers,
rug munchers.
yeah, carpet munchers, everybody. We're all inclusive here. And all hail the cadaver-in-chief. Philo put in some good clips from the Air Force Academy last week where he tripped over a sandbag trying to do the Joey Shuffle. And he just blew it. And during his speech, too, we've got about, 2 minutes of his clips from his speech where he screws up. And this week we're brought to you by Romeo O. Christ St. Peter's Boner Pills. That's right. You take Romeo O. Christ Boner Pills and you'll be harder than Chinese algebra. You'll be saying, oh my God, what am I going to do with this boner?
Speaking of Chinese, we have a good article about that, don't we?
Yeah, as a matter of fact. And remember, more doctors smoke Camels than any other cigarette. And oh yeah, here's an old Van Heusen shirt ad. Because remember, ladies, you know what? It really is a man's world after all. And you surrendered without a fight. You just let the men waltz in, say they're men, tuck, do a little tuck and duct tape, claim they're men, and start stealing women's sports and everything else. You just rolled right over for them. Oh my God, a shaper. Those things were obsolete when they came out. You talk about a friggin' do-nothing machine. You can't do anything with those machines, trust me. Except ride them. You hop on top, ride them like a cowboy.
So, where are we going to start today, Steve?
Oh my God.
I'll have a beer. I'll start it off.
Yeah, there you go. We keep Philo locked in the booth and away from the public. We've got some news that doesn't seem to make the news. You know, they're not teaching military history at West Point anymore, Philo?
Why?
I don't know, go figure. They were known for two things. I mean, it was our military academy. It was special to two things, military history and engineering, i.e. the Corps of Engineers, you know?
Yeah.
And, and there's more stuff on the Biden laptop. I should have made up a sign, damn it. The people who brought you the Hunter Biden content, so the emails and stuff, have put the rest of the laptop out on the interweb, and you can see it at bidenlaptopmedia.com. Okay, it's all right there. And bidenlaptopemail.com. And the other ones, Biden Hunter stuff, is at MarcoPoloUSA.org. That's where there's pictures of him with the hookers and they think sex trafficking and stuff. And now we're finding out that, it's like, oh my God, these people are, the FBI, it's crazy. The FBI has been covering for them. Tomorrow is Thursday. They're going to hold Christopher Wray in contempt. And they had a little mini revolt in Congress yesterday too. They barely heard about it because Kevin McCarthy reneged on his deal, and there's a bunch of people that aren't happy. You know why the Democrats weren't complaining about this friggin' debt ceiling bill? Is because it was written by them. They got everything they wanted, and McCarthy even postponed all the budget stuff until after the next presidential election. I mean, how insane is that? I know you guys don't have a big majority, but you have a majority, and thank God for people like Lauren Boebert and Matt Gaetz there. What does he call himself? Oh man, not Renegade. It's something else. Matt Gaetz. Anyways, they're saying no. They're putting their foot down. Nope, we're not going to do it. Oh, there's a vertical turret laid. Those are always fun. Look how fast that's going. That's an antique for you. You wonder why it took so long to get stuff done before the 1970s. There you go.
Yeah, TNC and CNC changed all that.
Oh man, well yeah. Somebody got the idea that, well, I did that at this one place where I worked. I told you about that, Philo. I was working at this in El Cajon, California. And we did parts for GE, Rocketdyne, a lot of defense and aerospace stuff. And they were doing stuff like that real slow, They were just barely going along and doing these stiffener rings for exhaust. It was just part of a jet turbine exhaust system, right? So they told me, when I went in there, they said, "This is a non-union shop, mister. Yeah, if you want to change things up and get stuff done, by golly, you can make a raise and you can go places, kid." So anyway, I got sick of doing this stuff. So slow, ultra slow. So I went in, I looked up the speeds and feeds, changed the programs on the machines, and I did a week's worth of work in one friggin' night. Well, I come in the next day and I'm thinking, well, you're going to give me an attaboy, right? And they're all like, they want to talk to you down at the office. I'm all like, oh boy, here we go. Don't tell me I made a bunch of scrap, right? Everything I made was junk. Oh no. They said, we had problems with what you did last night. I said, why? Was that any of it out of tolerance? Was it wrong? Oh no, it was all fine. It was all intolerance. I said, well, what was the problem? They said, well, you did a week's worth of work in one night. And I said, yeah. I said, well, I thought that's what you told me I could do, I was going to go places. I could do it. And they're all like, no. We bid on these jobs with the federal government. And if you do a week's worth of work in one night, how are we going to explain that? When we've been charging them a week to do the work for years and years. And I'm all like, well, what the hell? And they said, well, from now on, we've got engineers to do the engineering and programmers do the programming, and never the twain shall twix. And that was the end of that. Amatextrasa. Anyways, I wound up moving back to southern New Hampshire and helping my dad build a barn. It was more fun. Anyways, yeah, Dick Durbin even admitted, that's when everybody knew the gig was up. Dick Durbin, the Democrat from Michigan or whatever, he came out and admitted that Kevin McCarthy had been rolled by Hakeem Jeffries for the 2-year party in Washington. And you know what? That Kevin McCarthy had never had a real job, Philo?
Doesn't surprise me.
I think his last real job was like running a friggin' hot dog stand, honest to God.
Wow.
I wish I had a phone. I'd look up his bio. Anyways, I should have done it beforehand.
Who are you looking for?
Kevin McCarthy.
I'll look him up.
Representative. Thanks, Philo. Anyways, and there was a new article came out. You can see it in the Times of London. There's a paywall, but they've come up with a full page, full story, expose on who really blew up the Nord Stream pipeline, or as KJP calls it, the Nordstrom pipeline. And it looks like the Ukrainians did it, So the Ukrainians just sabotage Germany's friggin' economy, and they're going to get away with it? You know? How does that happen? In what planet? How does that work? It turns out that they rented a yacht called the Andromeda, and they found this. It was chartered by a Polish tourist agency, which was really the Ukrainian front, and let's see, they got the facts and dates and everything, DNA. It's crazy. So you can see that at the Times of London if you choose to. Oh, and Joe Biden signed a secret, super secret executive order dealing with elections. Yet he won't release what it's about. The executive order is 14019, and it has to do with elections, Philo. That's what we hear. Yeah. Nothing like secrecy, you know it?
It says here McCarthy earned money refurbishing vehicles.
What did he do before he became congressman?
Yeah, this was one of them. One job he had was refurbishing vehicles.
Yeah.
Then he sold off his business or something to go back to college. The long article. Very long article.
It's that detailing. Well, close enough. We'll dig into it anyways. Speaking of which, there's a New York Times report again about the Ukrainian Nazi insignia. They've been getting $5 billion. We're paying $5 billion a month for the Ukrainian pensions, their this, their that. And there's an article in today's paper about how one of their dams popped and flooded a whole bunch of towns, and it's crazy. It's like they're getting all this money, they couldn't do any maintenance, and the people have been complaining about this Ukrainian dam for months, Philo, for months. And nobody did anything. And now their Ukes are blaming Russians, and the Russians are blaming the Ukrainians. It's crazy. And they're running around with a Nazi insignia, according to the New York Times. You can check out that report. There's a paywall there too. About the Azov regiment. They're hostile to... It's funny, it comes out during Pride Month, Philo, because the Ukrainian Nazis, they're hostile to leftists, LGBTQ people, and movements, and ethnic minorities. And they're part of the broader military structure some regard as national heroes. They got the skull and crossbones that the concentration camp guards used to wear, the black sun, and of course, who's calling this out? Who did the investigation? Bellingcat. Now, Bellingcat is funded by the CIA, supposedly.
Wow.
So it's like, well, wait a minute. Why would they be bad-mouthing the Ukrainian Nazis? I don't know. They want to get there first, you know?
Maybe.
What the hell? So they've been calling to attention to it, and of course the Ukes are calling it Putin propaganda, but saying nothing lets it spread. They also have this outfit called the Da Vinci Wolves, and the right sector, and that's why NATO won't allow half of these jokers into the European protectorate, because they've got Nazi insignia. It's wild.
Isn't it real cool though that all the fighting and war in the Ukraine, and all the men have to go die and all the women go shopping?
Yeah,
no joke.
You can get these patches. You can get these patches and merchandise through a British punk band called Death in June, Philo. So you know me, just for the heck of it, I said, well, I'm going to go on there and I'm going to look it up and see, maybe, I'll buy some of these patches before they get outlawed, right?
Yeah.
So I searched out Death in June, and I found their official website. And then when I go on their official website, now I got my cookie blocker on, it says warning. It's a big warning, a warning, this is an insecure site, you might not want to click, you might not want to go here. So I'm wondering if that is something from the British government. Is it something from my Mac computer? You know, what the hell? I should disregard it. I don't care, you know. I should have disregarded it.
When you have a Mac computer, so your chances of getting a virus that'll harm you is going to be very small.
Yeah.
And even if you do get a virus, it won't work on your computer.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Oh, man. And did you see I don't know if I sent you this article about the illegal aliens that killed and ate the swans in Syracuse?
No, I didn't see that.
Yeah, they had these swans in the park, Philo, and these swans had babies and stuff. So they went there and they grabbed the mother and chopped her head off and stuffed and roasted her like a big old friggin' goose. And then they had the babies in a pen. So somebody dimed them out and the animal control went in and got the babies back. And there's this guy, Darren Stalcop. He's writing about the zombie apocalypse and living in San Francisco.
Yeah.
You know how much a gram of fentanyl costs in San Francisco right now, Philo?
How much?
Guess.
Well, it used to be pretty cheap.
Well, yeah, I mean, heroin was like, I don't know, $25 a bag.
Back when I was a counselor, you could get heroin for like $10 a bag. Or
If you bought a bunch.
Or even cheaper, yeah. So I would imagine not much.
$4 a gram, dude.
Oh, wow.
$4 a gram. And Biden and his criminal syndicate family, I swear they're in cahoots with the Mexican cartels and the Chinamen that are bringing the stuff over. Don't you think the Chinamen, in a communist country, them Chinamen know everything. They know every shipment of everything that's going everywhere, okay? They know where the precursor chemicals to make fentanyl are, what they are, and where they're going exactly, man. Trust me. And somebody's letting them do it. And so, yeah. Oh, I don't know if we had time, if Philo got to put it in there, but we had some footage of January 6th. If you go to justthenews.com, you can see where the Democrats, the January 6th committee, that sham committee with Liz Cheney, they added audio, of these people breaking in. There was no sound. There was no audio to those surveillance cameras that showed these people busting in. Now, these were real criminals that broke real windows to get in. These weren't the ones that just walked in through an open door like tourists. No, these are real criminals. But what the Democrats did is they added this friggin' violent audio. Yeah, rah, let's go, rah. And it was all scripted. And it turns out all their questions and answers and everything was all friggin' scripted. It's nuts, man. And if you want to, speaking of erections, if you want to look up erection irregularities, this guy, David Clemens, Clements, he talks about the machines and stuff. He's a professor at New Mexico State University. And speaking of which brings us to this story right here. Now, I hope I don't get booted. I hope they're really lightening up on this. Thanks to Philo for printing it up. This is from the GatewayPundit.com. TheGatewayPundit.com. Huge. Postal Service releases final report. Contract driver Jesse Morgan vindicated. Report confirms he hauled trailer of ballots from New York to Pennsylvania in late October 2020. And you wonder why people are skeptical. And here it is right here. This is happening now. Election whistleblowers come forward. This is from OAN, One American News, which you can't get except over the internet anymore.
Yeah, I don't think you can get it on satellite anymore either.
No, they won't let you do it. It's scumbags. Gateway reported in 2020, election whistleblowers came forward in December, including one who witnessed the shipping of an estimated 144,000 to 288,000 completed ballots across 3 state lines in October 21. The new information was made public at a press conference by the Amistad Project of the Thomas More Society. The Amistad Project said they've sworn declarations to state over 300,000 ballots are at issue in Arizona, 548,000 in Michigan, 204,000 in Georgia, and 121,000 in Pennsylvania. They claim their evidence reveals multi-state illegal efforts by the Postal Service workers to influence the election in at least 3 of the 6 swing states. The Postal Service, no, those union hacks that hated Trump. I remember they had pictures. They didn't have any pictures of Bush and Cheney when they were in office in my local PO. But damn it, man, when Obama came in, they had pictures of Obama in the local PO. And then after Obama was out and Trump came in, did they have pictures of Trump in any of the post offices? Oh, hell no.
I never saw any of those presidents in the one down here. And if they had them, I don't know where they were.
Yeah, it's been a thing that forever and ever that they have the president who's in office at the time on the wall. Let's see. The statements include hundreds of thousands of completed ballots, absentee ballots, across 3 state lines, and a trailer filled with ballots disappearing in Pennsylvania. Attorney Phil Klein said 130 completed ballots were shipped from Bethpage, New York to Lancaster, PA, where the ballots in the trailer disappeared. Truck driver Jesse Morgan was present at the conference and spoke for 9 minutes about his unbelievable ordeal. Morgan was tasked with delivering the completed ballots to PA from New York State. This was explosive testimony. He went on to say that he sat in Harrisburg for hours and he was told to leave. The supervisor would not give him a slip for an overtime slip so he could get paid. He said the manager supervisor was kind of rude. Let's see, something about the number of ballots. Now we got a little chopper here. 51, 451, 34. Number of ballots located on my trailer. The Gaylords contained plastic trays. They called them totes or trays of ballots. Excuse me. You know, I haven't had a cigarette in over 2 weeks and I've still got crap. It's probably from these stupid wildfires.
More than likely.
Yeah, what's up with that, man? Why can't the Canucks fight a fire in eastern Canada? You know, they got all the equipment. They've got the helicopters, the water drop bags. They've got lakes galore up there that they should be putting these fires out. I don't know, Pierre.
Well, you know, Trudeau has really screwed that country up really badly. Don't even get me started on Trudeau.
Oh man, yeah.
You know, if you think America has gone woke, you should see Canada.
Oh, it's horrible.
Oh gosh.
Here we are. Here's a letter from William McSwain, former U.S. Attorney, Eastern District of PA, from 2018 to 2021. Let's see. He was. I disagreed with the decision. These were my orders. Gateway Pundit reported that the Postal Service investigated, but they would not release their report. Now this. Jesse Morgan was exonerated. No wonder they hid this report for a year. The Postal Service is running ballots. It's just crazy. It's crazy, man. Which is why I see the Keebler elves. Two more Keebler elves just announced for president today, Philo.
Who was that?
It was Chris Christie yesterday, day before, over in New Hampshire. We got a clip of him talking about going small. He must have mentioned small about 30 times, so I didn't get the whole clip. And when he's as big as a house, and I'm no skeleton, but Chris Christie, man, he's just gone off the friggin' planet.
Did Nikki Haley do a thing over the weekend?
Yeah. CNN town hall or something.
Yeah, I saw that.
And she's a crazy warmonger. She wants to send everybody to fight everywhere on the planet.
That's nothing new.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I want somebody to do the job who's done the job. I want no more surrender monkeys and no more controlled opposition that sells us out. And here it is right here. Trump draws crowd of 2024 opponents. You bet he's drawing a crowd, man. Because we've had it. There's only one person that's going to have the sack to go in there on day one and do it and start getting it done. And that's Trump. And he's a blowhard? Yes, he's a blowhard. But you know what? I don't care anymore. You got people like DeSantis, great. He could use some more experience, DeSantis. You get him, DeSantis saying, well, you know, you'd probably need to take 2 terms to clean up the swamp down there. No, oh no. Trump knows where the bodies are buried. He's got the right people to get into the right spots, like Kash Patel, Steve Bannon. Get what's-his-face back in there on trade policies. You know, look at Bite Me. He said he was going to bring manufacturing back. What have we got so far? A promised chip factory, Philo. And that's it.
None of them want to really clean it up.
No.
It's just one of these things where, you remember what Trump said to Hillary? You had a chance to change that law about the taxes, and you didn't do it because all your donors are taking advantage.
Yeah.
You know, good. I'm glad he nailed her on that.
And Trump fought with a rhino, Paul Ryan, for the first 2 friggin' years, and then fought with the Democrats after that. Oh, and here's one for Burlington. Burlington aims to avoid last summer's gun violence. It's not gun violence, it's gang violence, okay, people? That's what it is. And look at the little, there's where your money going. And a group, Philo, so that all the little kiddies can get together in a circle and talk it all out. Isn't that wonderful?
Well, you know what Burlington's going to do, don't you? They're going to hire more social workers.
Exactly.
That'll help a lot, won't it?
Yeah, and you know what these cards and props are called, Philo?
What's that?
They're called norms. That's what they're called in this article.
Wow.
The city and other leaders credit police arrests of last year's shooting suspects for the relative calm experienced since last fall. Well, no kidding, because that's the whole thing. They can't commit any violence when they're locked up in the joint. And here's look at this is what one of them says. Only the person who has this talking piece can talk. The other one says, speak from the heart, without rehearsal. Oh, doesn't that make you feel wonderful, Philo?
No, it does not.
And it has African drums to make the Africans feel at home. Yeah, that's all right. Because, you know, we got to give the kids their time. They're special. They're special. Yeah, here it is. Ukraine, this is from today's paper. Ukraine dam collapse, a nightmare. A nightmare. Nobody got killed. The water's only like 2 feet deep. It's, you know, come on. What the hell? And listen, as usual, Philo, they put the stuff way, way, way in the back.
Never to be seen again.
Yeah, experts have previously said the dam was in disrepair, which could have led to the breach. It wasn't clear if the damage was deliberate or simple neglect. And here it is. Authorities, experts, and residents have expressed concern for months about water flowing through and over the Kakhovka Dam. And after heavy rains and snowmelt last month, water levels rose beyond normal, flooding nearby villages. Satellite images showed water washing over the damaged sluice gates. Oh, yeah. No preventive maintenance. What do you think is going to happen? Oh, we're just blaming it on Ivan, Philo.
Well, you know what it's called, and people don't understand this. It's called the process of entropy.
Yeah.
The natural disorder of things if you don't maintain them.
Yeah.
Jeez, come on, guys.
And speaking of which, the summer solstice is next week, right?
Oh yes, the height of the vernal equinox.
Yes, spring is finally over, technically, next week, right?
And then the days start getting shorter already.
Yeah. So where's 10% ski, man? Where's the spring offensive? You know, what happened, man? All that money and everything, you know? It was Russia, Ukraine launching attacks in East. Well, it's like, well, where the hell? Where's the money going? What's going on here? And get this, you gotta love this. California blasts Florida after new migrant flights. There's only 20 of them. They put 20 of them on a plane, flew them to Sacramento, the capital of California, and California is freaking out. Oh, you can't send them here. Wah! Dropped them off right at the Catholic Church, because Catholic Charities is the ones that are, you know, helping these people come in and getting paid by our tax dollars as NGOs to bring them in to boot. Yeah, let's see. It had already processed the young women and men and given them court dates for their asylum cases. When individuals representing a private contractor approached them outside a migranti center in El Paso and offered help to get them jobs and get them to their final destinations, they were lied to and intentionally deceived, Eddie Carmona said from Pico, California. They had no idea where they were being dropped off in Sacramento. They have court dates in cities throughout the country, not only in Texas, and none of them meant to end up in California. They were transported from Texas to New Mexico and then flown by a charter plane to Sacramento and dropped off in front of the diocese headquarters. Oh, sure. The flight, if proven to have been arranged by Florida, would intensify a prolonged political feud between DeSantis and Newsom, the governors of the respective states. You know what? You kept bragging that you're a sanctuary state. Oh, California's a sanctuary state. We're not going to let the people come in and take our illegals away, mister. Oh, no, we're a sanctuary. And then when they start getting migrantes, then it's a whole different story. And here's another one. This is from today's paper, too. California investigates the migrant flight. And there's Governor Grab'em Newsom. Gruesome Newsom. Yeah, oh, sure. Yep. Yeah, why don't we migrate them all home? How's that, okay? Because they find out, Philo, when they go for their stupid migrant, their asylum hearings, that only about 2 to 5% of them actually face any real fear from living in their own country. And they get shipped back. So let's ship them all back now. They're supposed to wait in the first safe country they come to.
I think that we should import a whole bunch of Swedes and Finns.
Yeah, remember when Trump asked about that?
I don't see why we can't have them.
He says, why are we only bringing in people from these crap hole countries? Why can't we bring in some Swedes and Norwegians and stuff?
Yeah, I can dig a Swedish masseuse, couldn't you?
Oh yeah. Be like Gaddafi with his
Amazon bodyguards in the Ukraine.
Bodyguards, yeah.
Well, that's why Hillary had him killed, you know.
Yeah. We gotta free the bodyguards, man. And you remember when it seems like so long ago now, because this was right before I moved to Vermont, and I was watching the artillery duel on the other side of the river in Vermont from my perch in New Hampshire, and it was over civil unions. Remember, all the queers said, we don't want gay marriage, all we want is civil unions. We just wanted civil unions, that's all. We just want civil unions. And some of the people could see through it. And that's where you got these Take Back Vermont, and you can't find them anymore. Those signs are worth some money, man. And so there were Take Back Vermont signs everywhere, and which confused the hell out of the tourists because they didn't know if it was Take Back maple syrup or cheese or what the hell.
Yeah.
But anyways, so the next thing you know, it goes all the way to the Supreme Court, and they said, well, you know, all we want is marriage between, two of us. All we want is marriage, We're not going to be preaching to little kids. We're not going to be, we're not going to be out screwing on the town commons and wearing assless chaps and whipping each other in the back of pickup trucks during pride parades. We're not going to do any of that stuff. We just want to be married and live normal private lives. Well, now look what happened. Now you've got men in the back of pickup trucks wearing assless chaps whipping each other, going down the road in the friggin' pride parades.
When it used to be confined to San Francisco.
Yeah.
Now it's all over.
Or Hell's Kitchen.
Yeah.
Now it's all over the place, man. And now they want it for a whole friggin' month. It's like there was D-Day was what, yesterday? Yesterday, June 6th. There was only one thing in the paper about D-Day, and it was the Peanuts cartoon where Snoopy is navigating obstacles on Normandy Beach. Protest, parties, and Pride Month. Well, you know what? People were getting sick of it, all right? We were fine. We were fine with let live and let live. There's no problem there. But you know what? Now you're coming out with drag queen story hours and teaching kids about lube and friggin' dildos and every other damn thing. Kindergartners, no. And that's where people are putting their foot down and saying, look, you poivoids.
and then we have gender identity.
Oh, yeah, we got to teach them about that.
Isn't it funny that when people say that there are many, many different genders, that when you want to change your gender, there's only two options?
Yeah. And, oh man, speaking of which, they had a surgeon on Charlie Kirk's show today. I don't know. Damn it, I should have had the camera ready and got the clip. But he's a surgeon and he had pink hair. And he says, one of my specialties is doing affirmative surgery where I help people to become the gender that they want to become. And I'm looking at this guy with the pink hair and I'm thinking, man, I wouldn't let this guy operate on my friggin' dog, man.
Heavens no, you wouldn't want to torture your poor dog.
Oh, man.
Because in 20, 30 years after they dig you out of the ground,
yeah,
the DNA is going to say you're a man or you're a woman. No matter what you happen to trans into, it's going to be whatever you were born with.
And remember, chimpanzees have more chromosomes than humans do.
Exactly. I know I think it's a 23rd chromosome, and the 24th went meshed or something.
How's that work?
Yeah. Well.
Yeah. It's like,
the process of natural selection.
And yeah, right. And then why does it say in the Bible that let us create man in our own image? It's like this. In every other place in the Old Testament, there's one God. It's always God singular. I will do this. I've done that. I, the Lord, do this. Except for when it comes to creating man. Then it's all like, let us go down and create man out of our own image. And the other thing, too, that always bugged the hell out of me was when I was a little kid, was when there was Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden. And the reptile it doesn't say snake. The reptile was already alive, okay? He was alive and presumably walking upright, okay?
Snake man.
Yeah, because a walking snake. Because after he does the dirty, and Eve eats from the knowledge of good and evil, then God goes after the snake and says, from now on in, you're going to crawl on your belly for the rest of your days, for eternity. So it's like, wait a minute, if they're making them crawl on their belly now, how the hell did it get around the Garden of Eden before? It must have had arms and legs like regular locomotion.
Yeah, humanoid.
Yeah, reptiles. And that's why, remember, like, when they were having the transition from CCDs, when they were the old cameras that we used to have, that some people in the right lighting and stuff at the right speeds, they looked like they had snake eyes and stuff, or maybe they were real reptile people.
It could be.
Yeah, just look that up sometime on the interweb.
Okay, just to let you know, you got 4 minutes.
4 minutes, oh my God. It's a year full of clashes for the LGBTQ plus community. Oh yeah. and the 1969 Stonewall Inn uprising. And my buddy Jim McKim, who used to run the art center down here, he was actually there. He was about 16 years old. He was at Stonewall, and I tried to get an interview out of him, but he was bashful. He didn't like being on camera, damn it. And I wanted to get him on camera. He said, well, why? I was just there. It was weird. It was just, a cop riot in the middle of the summer. And I'm all, come on, dude. I said it was the gay version of Concord and Lexington. You were there making history. Come on. He wouldn't do it. Here we are, right here. Reports Trump on tape discussing document possession, which he is fully allowed to do under the Presidential Records Act. Read it sometime. But they're, oh no, it's Moby Trump. We're going to go after him. And now they found out that Biden's got so many records scattered all over the place that they can't go after Trump without going after Biden. And Biden didn't even have authority because he wasn't president at the time. And there's no criminal penalties in the law. And the Justice Department has relied on the Clinton sock drawer standard, where Billy Clinton had tapes in his sock drawer and said that those were his tapes, that they didn't have to turn them over. And yet, we're going to go after Trump. There she blows, man. And the FBI, I hope they choke the money off in the FBI in this new budget thing. They do not deserve a new Lubyanka prison. Here we are. Democrats frustrated by food aid changes. Oh my God, working for your benefits? Imagine that.
Never heard of such a thing.
Work is a four-letter word, Philo.
For some people, it sure is.
Yeah. And here's ESGs. Yes, a good one. Poll, most Americans don't know of ESGs. Well, that's because they're stupid and they're making companies lose money. Look what happened to Target and Bud Light.
It was all about marketing. It had nothing to do with social justice or anything. It was all about money.
Yeah.
They wanted to take the latest trend and make money on it. That's all it was about.
And this week, this day in history, right?
Yep.
This is from, Thursday. 2020, police violently broke up a peaceful and legal protest by thousands of people in Lafayette Park across from the White House, using chemicals, clubs, and punches to send protesters fleeing. The protest had gathered following the police killing of George Floyd a week earlier. Trump declared himself the president of law and order and threatened to deploy the military, and then walked across the empty park to be photographed holding a Bible in front of St. John's Church, which had been damaged the night earlier. They weren't peaceful protests. These jerks were trying to tear down Andy Jackson's statue in Lafayette Park, remember?
Yep.
They had ropes around his neck and everything. And the night before, the St. John's Church that was damaged by fire. They tried to burn a church to the ground, and the Washington cops and the FBI did nothing. Nothing. They're revising history to make Trump look bad. It's crazy, man. I've never seen anything like it. It's Trump. Oh, yeah. Here we are, another one. This is from Friday, the next following day. 2020, defying curfews, protesters streamed back into the streets hours after Trump urged governors to put down the violence set off by Pink Floyd. Police said 4 officers were hit by gunfire after protests in St. Louis became violent. Oh, they just became violent. We're changing history right in front of our faces, Philo. Don't tell me, here's another one. Tens of thousands rallied from Australia to Europe to honor Pink Floyd and voice support for BLM movement, which we now know is a massive shakedown and flim-flam racket.
Of course it was.
Massive peaceful protests took place nationwide to demand police reforms. Oh, okay. Peaceful protests, 550 riots.
Okay, last but not least.
Oh, it's crazy, man. And here's a good one, too. Okay, last but not least. And this day in history. This day in history. 1968. This was June 5th. RFK was shot and mortally wounded after claiming victory at the Ambassador Hotel in Los Angeles. Assassin Sirhan Bashir Sirhan was arrested at the scene, which was funny because Sirhan, to this day, we still don't know how he managed to get off 11 shots from an 8 or 9 shot Iver Johnson revolver. It's just one of those things.
Yep, it sure is.
I hope RFK Jr. runs and wins, damn it. That'd be the day. That'd be great. Well, once again, you wasted a perfectly good hour of your life watching this stupid show, so hopefully we'll see you again next week, inshallah. Good Lord willing, the creek don't rise. So until then, get hands up, down on your hands and knees in the men-only mosque. Sniff the bum of the guy in the man dress in front of you. Head east towards the meteorite in Mecca and worship the rock and go, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Snakbar, Allahu Open Bar, Akbar.
And of course, a happy Deus Magnus to all of you.
Oh, that went by quick.
Both of these guys. I'll just do what I did last time. I go in the basement, and then I let other people figure it out with the votes and all that kind of thing. But then we can make America great again. No, wait a minute. That's their thing. That's MAGA. What do I do? I'm going to do whatever I do. Do it.
Here is the first January 6th committee hearing footage that you might have seen. You're going to get to hear. Look at that. You hear a lot of sound there, folks. And you see this footage. It's pretty dramatic.
Sounds very riotous.
Sandbag his entire administration.
Here's the actual footage. It's a silent movie. Same footage. Exact camera. We matched the camera to the second. But there's no footage there, no sound footage at all. That footage was thrown in there to create a dramatic movie-like effect. It's no longer evidence now.
By the
It's now
Democrat.
been turned into a little bit of propaganda. It's one thing if they told the public they did it right, Amanda, but they don't. Look how silent it is. It looks like a 1920s silent movie. Bad behavior being shown. There's a guy kicking the door. These are bad people. But we were given an extra
and they should be
effect that didn't exist
prosecuted.
on these tapes. Now, in a few seconds, we're going to roll to another tape, and you're going to see a similar circumstance, an outside shot of the Capitol, one of the more famous shots that we all remember. And again, there's no sound. Somebody dubbed in the sound afterwards to create it Hollywood style instead of evidence. Here we go. Here's the second footage.
My patient's experience. Balance 7 neutralizes
January 6th.
Pretty loud.
system so that your
Now
body
watch this.
can heal itself. With
There's no
reduced
sound.
acid in your body,
There was no.
your
And why?
body
Because these are
becomes less
closed-circuit
inflamed.
television cameras. They
Join
never
us
had
in
sound. All the committee had to do
It
was
wasn't just the
tell
wall that's deeply concerning. Earlier in the day, Biden needed a lot of help, special help, to find the stage and the podium. And during the speech, Joe had some, well, let's call them unusual moments. Take a look.
It wasn't all push-ups and cramming for Prague Week,
What?
though to set the Guinness Book of Records, world records, most simultaneous push-ups, there had to be an enormous amount of push-ups. Had them out doing loops and barrel rolls on a glider.
What?
I asked if I could do that today, and the Secret Service said, no, we'll have to shoot it down. By the way, I met with who are those guys that fly over shortly? You heard of them, haven't you?
What?
3 of them are women. And your class is one of the most diverse classes in the history of this academy, or any academy to graduate. That's why we're strong.
What?
That's why we're who we are. That's why we'll never give up.
Angry
That's
Joe.
why.
Who are those guys that are about to
He
do
whacked his head on
thing? Anyway,
the
So
helicopter.
after those very bizarre remarks,
Boom.
Biden returned home to the White House. And what happens? Well, he hit his head on Marine One. He then told the press corps that a rogue sandbag was responsible for him tripping and falling. Take a look.
Okay.
Well, unfortunately, it appears that Biden has bigger problems than being
I'm
sandbagged,
falling.
but the media mob
And I
don't seem
can't
to care.
get up.
CNN, MSDNC, they barely mention Biden's fall like it never happened. In
course
contrast,
not.
4 years ago, here's how they covered Donald Trump. Remember, it was raining, he had a ramp, it didn't have a railing of any kind, and it was a very
had leather-soled shoes.
speech he gave at West Point, and so in dress shoes, he walked slowly. Never fell. He very wisely walked slowly. Take a look.
President Trump is now the oldest president to hold office during a first term as he celebrated his 74th birthday yesterday. However, this milestone is bringing up new questions about his health, particularly over the moment with this weekend where he cautiously descended a ramp during the commencement speech at West Point Academy.
Oh my
Tonight, new
God.
questions about President
New
Trump's
question.
health after this walk down a ramp at West Point's graduation ceremony this weekend.
One doesn't need to be a physician to note that the president hasn't looked well recently, and he didn't look well on Saturday.
Right.
Momentary.
But besides, it's not the mind that's the problem. It's everything to the south. I mean, if I sit in a chair for more than 90 seconds, I can't feel my legs. But if I close my eyes, I'm as old as I am then fly. Look, I'll show you. Okay, I'm running a 50-yard dash. I'm doing the high jump. Then I open my eyes. I can't feel my legs.
Smaller Voldemort, smaller. Oh my.